Cigarette smoking is bad. There's no denying that. However, how bad is it exactly? In order to further explain the harmful effects of cigarette smoking, for as long as the chemical components are within the smoke, we must first delve into the history of cigarette smoking and how it was conceived. In the United States, cigarettes were originally made available in the early 19th century. Prior, chewing, snuffing, and using tobacco in pipes and cigars were the original main uses. Cigarette use had increased in acceptance by the time of the Civil War. In 1864 exactly, cigarette taxes were levied at the federal level. Early 20th century cigarettes had gentler cured tobacco mixes that were easier to inhale and increased the bloodstream absorption of nicotine. Army medics hailed cigarettes for their ability to relieve pain and help the wounded unwind during the World War I. Of course, it wasn't all that good. It wasn't until the late 40s to the early 50s that smoking was first connected to lung cancer and other illnesses. A scientific study team from the Surgeon General came to the conclusion that lung cancer and excessive cigarette smoking were related around 1956. The first of several science-based papers to establish environmental tobacco smoke, ETS for short, as a health risk to non-smokers was the Surgeon General's report from 1972. After a short background on cigarette smoking, we proceed to analyze the extraction of the smoke and chemical analysis and identify the components of the smoke. We will do this by improvising a smoke machine. Here are some of the materials needed for the machine. We will be needing an empty bottle, a pen with a cap, a cigarette, anything to bore a hole within the bottle, and a glue gun. To start, drill a hole into the cap of the bottle. Make another hole into the bottom of the bottle to put the ball pen in if the contents removed, with the cap intact. Using the glue gun, secure the ball pen into the bottle. This shall be our smoking machine. To start off the experiment, we must first fill the bottle with water. The cigarette then goes on top of the drilled cap of the bottle. By lighting the cigarette and removing the cap of the ball pen at the bottom, filtration will occur. As we are not permitted to light the cigarette to observe the filtration process, we can predict the substances that will appear produced by the smoking machine. The extraction of smoke is done by having the smoke go through the bottle. As smoke isn't entirely soluble in water, only water-soluble molecules will be absorbed. Such will be soot, nicotine, and other substances formed within the bottle. We may now further analyze these substances and the harm they may bring. This is a good representation as well of the human lungs. There are thousands of components within tobacco smoke, including at least 70 that are known to cause cancer. Carcinogens are the terms used to describe these compounds that cause cancer. Nicotine hydrogen cyanide, formaldehyde, tobacco-specific nitrosamines or TSNAs, polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PHAs to be short, are a few of the substances present in tobacco smoke. Cigar smoke contains many of the same harmful and cancer-causing substances as cigarette smoke, although some of them are concentrated in different and various amounts. These elements release numerous tobacco-specific nitrosamines, TSNAs, some of the most potent carcinogens yet discovered when cigar tobacco is smoked. Also, the tobacco doesn't burn as thoroughly in a cigar as it does in a cigarette because of the cigar's less porous wrapper. Higher levels of tar, ammonia, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxides, and other hazardous components are produced as a result. The tobacco leaves used to create cigarettes and cigars contain radioactive substances. The amount of these components in tobacco relies on the soil wherein the plants were grown in and the type of fertilizers used. Because they are derived from the soil and fertilizer used to grow the tobacco leaves. When tobacco is burned, radioactive substances are released into the air, inhaled by smokers and into their lungs. This may be another important element in the development of lung cancer in smokers. In addition to emphysema and chronic bronchitis, smoking also increases the risk of developing cancer, heart disease, stroke, lung conditions, diabetes, and chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, or COPD to be short. Smoking also increases the risk of developing tuberculosis, several eye conditions, and immune system issues such as rheumatoid arthritis. The cigarette smoke does not only affect smokers. In fact, those who are exposed to secondhand smoke also develop coronary heart disease, lung cancer, as well as stroke. Acute respiratory infections, middle ear disease, more severe asthma, respiratory systems, and slower lung growth development are all conditions that are more common in children who are exposed to secondhand smoke. Smoking kills. And through this little experiment, we can say that the smoke emitted by a cigarette is where the harm kicks in. Allow this video to be a reminder to cherish our lives. Do not ever let a cigarette smoke fume into our dreams.